Alright guys, well, we're back with another episode of Tati Tuesday. I know it has been such a long time since I have posted. I literally think that it's been like a month, maybe longer. I just wanted to catch up. I wanted to, like I said, just kind of get ready for my day. I've got my coffee here next to me, and yeah, I just wanted to kind of hang out, kind of catch up on life. I hope everybody out there is doing well. I hope you're getting through this hard time that we're all facing with, you know, the pandemic. And I know things have been crazy with like the election and stuff. And maybe you're watching my video and you're going through school or you're working or whatever. I totally understand. I'm in that place too. I'm working, I'm going to school still. So it's been a struggle. And that's also part of the reason why I just have not been present on YouTube. So let me stop blabbering. I'm really happy to be here and be doing this, and I'm just gonna get started. Also, if I forget to say anything in my video, I will be listing products as I go, so that way you can know what I'm using, just in case I like forget to mention it or something, you know what I mean? So, all right, let's get started. So what I am gonna start with actually is gonna be this e.l.f. matte putty primer. It's basically the same thing as like the poreless putty primer, it's just white, so I don't know why I'm like, look. Oh, by the way, if you see me looking over here in this direction, there's like a little viewfinder thing that I have going on, so I can like see what I'm doing. So I'm sorry if that's like kind of annoying, but just like when I show a product, like I'm just kind of looking to make sure it's like showing up on camera. But anyways, I'm gonna put this on my face. So I once, a long time ago, tried the poreless putty primer from e.l.f., but totally did not know like the right way to use it. And I remember when I used it, I like barely had any on my hands, and I was just kind of like, okay, like I don't really understand the point or the hype behind this primer, because it was like getting really hyped up at the time. And I realized like after, I literally like got so annoyed with it because I was like, ew, what a waste of money. Like it was like, I mean, e.l.f. is super cheap, but it was like $8. And you know, when you're a baller on a budget, $8 is still $8. And I remember using it and I was just like, this is not like doing anything for me. Like I don't even see it really like doing, I saw it doing a little bit for my pores, but like I said, I barely like, I like would put like I would be like that. And you know, with the poreless primers or the putty primers, you kind of have to like kind of scoop it out and then like put it on your face. So anyways, I ended up like throwing it away, which, why, I don't know. It was a moment that I was like frustrated and I was like, oh, this didn't do anything. I'm just gonna toss it, because like why keep it if it doesn't work? And then I'm not even kidding, like after I threw it away, I saw like this ad for the poreless putty primer, and I saw how the people were like kind of scooping it and putting it on like really thick on their face, and I was like, that's how you're supposed to use it? And then I was really bummed that I threw it away, because I was like, dang, I was just using it wrong. I don't know why I didn't go to like YouTube and try and see like how do you use this primer, but I also didn't think I was using it wrong, so there you go. All right, so next I'm gonna go in with, this has been like my new favorite thing. Let me see if I can show it on camera. I mean, it's not really much to show, honestly, but this is the Milani Weekend Brow, and it's like, I think, is it Glossier that has like this, it's kind of like the same thing, like has a really, really, really fine tip, and it's basically like an eyebrow pen, and when you put it through your eyebrow, it'll look like little like eyebrow hairs. You do have to be quite light-handed with this. Like you don't want to be like pushing it onto your eyebrow, obviously, because then it's gonna look like really dark and really thick. You just want to use the very, very like fine tip that you see here, very lightly, and you'll get like those hair-like strokes. My shade that I have is 140 Espresso. But yeah, like you can totally, oh yeah, you can totally see a difference. You can totally see a difference between like this eyebrow and this one. And it looks a little like harsh right now, but we're gonna kind of like, you know, brush through it, clean it up. It'll look good in the end. We always have to like trust the process with makeup. So the next thing I'm gonna go in with is going to be this e.l.f. concealer. This is something new that I've been playing around with, and I really, really like it. I do know that this is like a product that a lot of people compare to the Tarte Shape Tape, and that's like one of my all-time favorite like high-end concealers. But this is really good. Like, I need to keep playing with it. I've only used it just a few times, but I really feel like they're spot on as far as like being dupes for each other. And this isn't the hydrating one. This is just like the regular like matte finish one because I have oilier skin. Oilier? Is that a word? I don't know. I have oily skin. And yeah, I just feel like this one is really, really good. But this one that I have is more of like a highlighting kind of concealer color. So I am gonna mix a little bit of it with my Maybelline Fit Me concealer. And this one is in the shade 15. And the one that I have from e.l.f. is in the shade Light Sand. So I'm just gonna mix them just to help with like the color. I don't know though what it'll do like formula wise, but I guess we'll find out. Hopefully it doesn't like take away from how good this e.l.f. one is. Also the Maybelline one is really good too, but this for like coverage, oof, it's really good. It's really good. And it does like genuinely stay in place. So all I'm gonna do with this, sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place, but I am just going to spot conceal, and then I'm gonna use this concealer as well and the other Maybelline one to like clean up my eyebrow area and just kind of handle that. Actually, wait, I'm like really jumping ahead. I forgot to set my eyebrows. Let me do that first actually. So what I'm gonna do, wow, this video really is all over the place. I'm sorry guys, it's been a long time, okay? But I'm gonna take the Wow Brow from e.l.f. and the shade I have, I think it's just like Brunette. I don't even know, it's like the darkest shade, but oh wait, it's right here, huh? Yeah, Brunette, I was right, yay. But it's just like a tiny little eyebrow product. I know this one has also been compared as a dupe for the Boy Brow from Glossier. Is it from Glossier? I think it is. I have not tried the Boy Brow, so I don't know if it is a dupe or not, but I can say that I like this one a lot. And the one I would use a lot before in my videos was the NYX Tinted Brow Gel, which that's a really good one too, honestly. Like, I do like that one. But like I said, we are all ballers on a budget right now, and if you are a girl on a budget, I highly recommend checking out this e.l.f. one, because I feel like honestly it works just as good. It keeps my eyebrow hairs in place, it's got a nice tint to it, and yeah, not much more to say. I just really like it. Alright, and then now that that's done, I'm gonna take the concealers and I'm gonna spot conceal, I'm gonna clean up my eyebrows, and then we'll be back after that. So yeah, just as I'm like sitting here right now, I kind of wanted to just like touch on where I've been at, why I've been gone for like a month from YouTube. Honestly, and it kind of feels like silly to talk about it, to be real, but I want to be honest on here, and I want to kind of talk about like, I guess what I've kind of, I don't want to call it like my struggles or anything, but just kind of what I've been like dealing with, because I know everyone is going through something right now. And I feel like if I talk about kind of what I've been going through, hopefully somebody will watch my video and like just know that they're not alone, you know, because we're all going through something. And I know a lot of times things on social media are often put up and it's like the highlight reel of everybody's life, you know what I mean? Like, and so sometimes I can see how other people are posting and like things that they're doing and how they're living their life, and it just seems like it's so much better than like what maybe I feel like how my life is going or whatever, if that makes sense. And like, by no means is my life going bad or negatively or anything like that, but like I said, like, you know, we're all living through this like pandemic, and then like the whole like political stuff that's been going down because of like the presidential elections, like all these different things. And I'm not gonna get like political or anything like that here, but I just know, you know, everyone's kind of going through something, and whether it's like stress or anxiety or exhaustion, whatever the case may be. And for me, I just feel like, you know, I was doing YouTube videos, and I feel like, I don't know, it just got to a point where, to be completely honest, I just started getting really insecure, like really insecure. I just kind of started feeling like nobody watches my videos, nobody really cares to watch them. And I'm not also talking about what I've gone through or like what I was dealing with for this past month to get any kind of like sympathy or pity or anything like that. Like I said, I just really want to talk about what's been going on with me to hopefully help somebody else to know that they're not alone, you know? And I also just want to talk about like what I've been doing to kind of take care of myself through that time and through this last month, so that hopefully somebody else will see it and, you know, I don't know, get an idea on how they can do some self-care too. But anyways, like I said, you know, everyone's going through something. I know I keep saying that over and over, but for me, I just, what was I talking about? So like I was saying, I just started getting really insecure, and I didn't feel like anybody was watching, and I don't know, like just the motivation for it was just like, why am I doing this? Like, for what, you know? And I did enjoy doing it, and I wasn't like, you know, disliking making videos or anything like that. But you know, it's like a lot of work, especially like when you're first starting and you're trying to learn like algorithms for YouTube, and you know, you buy like all this equipment and you're buying like makeup and spending your money on makeup and things like that. And it is hard when you feel like no one's watching. Now granted, I know I've like just started doing this, and I know it takes time to grow. Like, you're not gonna get like, you know, become some viral like beauty influencer overnight. Like, I totally get it. But you know, like for me, like I've said, like I'm working and I'm going to school, and then I'm trying to do this. So it was just kind of like overwhelming, if that makes sense. And it was hard because I had so many ideas when it came to like for Halloween time and like spooky season. Like I had so many things that I wanted to do, but at the end of the day, like I was just feeling so overwhelmed. I was feeling so insecure. So I kind of like needed to take a break and like kind of deal with myself, figure out like what was going on with why, you know, I was maybe like feeling that way or whatever. And so I did, and I go to therapy once a week. And so I started kind of like opening up to my therapist about it, and was like telling her like, you know, like how I was feeling about YouTube and like having to do school, and just, you know, what life is kind of like encompassing right now, and like where are my priorities at if I'm like trying to do YouTube but I'm trying to focus on school. And I do have it's a challenge for me to balance school and other things. Like, it's hard for me to keep school at like a priority level. It's, oh gosh, I just like threw that on myself. Wow, this looks crazy. This is cream blush, by the way, so don't worry, it's not gonna stay looking crazy like this, but I just looked at like the little viewfinder I have, and I'm like, wow, she looks like she's like bleeding on her face. So for me, I'm also someone who deals with a pretty high anxiety. And I don't really talk about it or open up because, to be honest, it's kind of hard. Like, I just feel like anxiety is almost trendy. Like, people want to say that they have anxiety or that they deal with it or whatever. And it's very, like, in my opinion, like, I don't know if this is the right word, but I just feel like it's like really like generalized. Like, it's just very like oversimplified too. Like, it's just kind of like, oh, I'm so anxious, like I have anxiety or whatever. And I'm not saying like everybody does that, but there are people who just kind of like downplay it, or they say like they deal with it when they don't really, because like I said, like I feel like even like with the younger generation, like it's almost trendy, which is kind of unfortunate, because I wish it wasn't. But for me, I just feel like, you know, it's a real thing, obviously, that I deal with and that a lot of people deal with. It was just another thing that I was like really experiencing over this like month that I've kind of taken this break from doing videos. So in therapy, I've been doing actually lots of different exercises that help cope with anxiety or like with my anxious mindset. A lot of my anxiety will actually manifest physically. So for me, my anxiety will be like, I'll get like, I don't know, like rashes on my skin, or I get kind of like, I get really sick, like, you know, stomach issues, digestion issues. I get really bad headaches. And then a lot of it is also like a subconscious mental thing for me too. Like my brain, I feel like the wheels are always turning in my head. Like I'm always thinking, and I sometimes feel like I just don't get the chance to rest. And even on my days off, I feel like I'm like everything in my head mentally is like still going. And I just like feel like nothing ever kind of like takes a break internally. And then obviously like when it manifests physically, it stresses me out more. Like if I get a skin rash or whatever, if I have a headache, or my stomach is just like upset for days. And, sometimes I know what might be making me anxious or like, more stressed out. But then sometimes there's been times over this last month where I've just woken up and I just feel so anxious and stressed out. And I've put in a lot of work in therapy in the last month, especially to be able to identify easier and be more self-aware. And my therapist is Christian and I'm Christian, just in case you don't know. So we've been doing like devotionals together, and I've been doing devotionals on my own and just being more intentional about making time with God, because right now, especially with the pandemic, it's kind of hard to be in church. But I currently don't have a home church either at the moment. So for me, I really have to be like disciplined about the time that I'm making to, spend with God and with myself even. So I've been trying to be like really a lot more intentional about that. There's been a lot of methods that my therapist has taught me, as far as like if I'm feeling anxious. She's taught me different breathing techniques, or if you want to Google any of these, there's like the 5-4-3-2-1 method, there's the Babbling Brook method. All those things are really helpful for when I'm feeling like anxious, or if I feel like an anxiety or panic attack is like coming on or is happening in the moment, which I've definitely had my share in those too in the last like month, and even like over this whole time with like the pandemic too. Like it's just been crazy, and we all know that because we're all going through it. It's hard too, if I can just say, like, as a Christian, to talk about like having anxiety, because people want to be like, I'm not saying anybody's being like this, I'm just saying like as a general thing, a lot of times it can be looked down upon if you have anxiety or whatever, or if you're like talking about dealing with anxiety, because I feel like it's like, oh, well, don't claim it, like don't carry it, don't, blah, 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 blah. And yes, like I'm not claiming anxiety over myself. I'm not being like, I'm an anxious person. Like I'm not speaking that over myself, obviously, because I want to like, be positive and speak life over myself and, all those wonderful things. But for me, it's not even that. It's just like, I'm human, and as a human, like we all have our own flaws, or like what makes us human, if that makes sense. For me, I feel like this is kind of what makes me human. I don't have to carry anxious thoughts. I don't have to carry an anxious mindset. I don't have to carry panic and worry and fear and stress. But I'm not perfect, and sometimes without realizing it, I take those things on. But I know that just as easily as I take those things on, I can just like give it back and like cast my cares onto the Lord, and He will take my burdens and like lift it off of me, and like I can gain peace from that. You know what I mean? So, not everyone's, obviously a believer or a Christian. This is just like personally how I deal with my stuff, and there's very, very, very practical methods that I take too. Like, it's not just like, oh, I just pray and like my anxiety's gone, because I need practicality in my life. I'm just very much that type of person. So like I said, I do those methods with my therapist, breathing techniques, the 5-4-3-2-1 method, the Babbling Brook method. I also, another really, really quick thing that I can mention is I got adult coloring books, and I know that sounds kind of silly. And honestly, when I got it because I heard that for people who have like high anxiety or deal with anxiety, it's really good for them. And I was kind of like, okay, well, maybe I can just like see if I like it or not. So I got a couple of books, and I remember like when I was like opening the page, like, those adult coloring books, like they're very like detailed. There's a lot to like do in one page. And I remember looking at it, and I felt like I got like more anxious looking at it. And I was like, okay, this is not gonna help me. But I still continued on to just like make myself do one page at least when I first got the book. And it was so therapeutic, because those books, they make you take like one thing at a time. Like if, say I have like a page where it's just like a bunch of flowers, right? Well, obviously to like do it, I have to color one flower at a time. And for me, when I finished and I kind of like reflected on coloring in the book, it was like, oh, this is just like life. Like I need to take one thing at a time. And in the end, it will be like this beautiful picture that I can like look back on. I can look back on my life and know that by taking one thing at a time, like it was so beneficial for me to do it that way, instead of like looking at the picture, so to say, as like a whole and like getting overwhelmed by it, or looking at life as a whole and getting overwhelmed by it. So yeah, So the adult coloring books went deep for me, actually. Sometimes I'll take like melatonin when I'm going to sleep if I'm feeling really anxious, I can't fall asleep. Like there's very like natural, practical methods that can help with you. Also like grounding techniques, if you go outside barefoot and you just let your feet or your body like touch the earth. I know that a lot of this might sound kind of like cheesy or like, I don't know, like maybe it sounds even weird to some people, but it is so helpful. And it's really just like natural, practical things. Like even meditation, like for me, like my meditation has to do with like reading my Bible and praying. Whatever can help you kind of just like recenter yourself, find your peace. For me, I say go after it, because your peace is just like, it should be like the number one thing for you. You know what I mean? Like always follow your peace. And for me, these are the things that I've been doing to help me with my anxiety. And one of them, again, too, along with all the other practical methods I mentioned, was to take a break from YouTube, because I was getting too insecure and I was getting too overwhelmed, and I just was losing my focus of why I was even doing these videos in the first place. I'm doing them because I really like makeup. I like, in a sense, being able to hang out with you guys, because I know like when you're watching my videos, it kind of makes me feel like we're hanging out, even though like it's a virtual thing and I've already like pre-recorded the video, but still, I still feel like we're hanging out, you know what I mean? And yeah, like, I don't know. So I'm really glad to be back. I will be honest, I feel like a little like, as I'm like doing this video, because talking about things and like why I was gone, or anxiety or whatever, like what's going on in the world, like it's a little like nerve-wracking. Like it's kind of like, I feel weird, but I also just want to be honest. Like I just feel like people appreciate honesty more than anything these days. And yeah, like I said in the beginning of the video too, like I just really want people to know, if you're like watching my video, you're like, you're not alone. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling stressed out or tired or overworked or whatever the case may be, you're not alone. You know what I mean? I kind of paused on makeup, and I know I went through a couple products and I didn't name them. I will again, I'll have everything listed. Don't worry, you can know everything I'm using if you look in the description. But the next thing I will mention really quick, to kind of segue from our little deep conversation we were having, is this little like e.l.f. cheek duo. Oh my goodness. These things are like $3, you guys. $3, okay? And this one is in spiced apple, and like that's the blush, and then that's like the highlighter. The highlighter is a little bit dark, but I will put it like on top of this blush, and it is like gorgeous. Like, oh, chef's kiss. It's so pretty. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the blush from Spiced Apple, and this is how I've been doing like my face makeup. Like I said, I just kind of like spot concealed, as you saw, did powder, whatever. I did a cream blush too. And then I just kind of take the blush and I just run it at the very like top of my cheek, and then I actually come up here and I kind of like C-shape, like I kind of go like, you know, and I don't know, I've really been liking it like that. Like I haven't been doing like bronzing or contouring or anything like that. Like I said, this is kind of like when I'm not having like super deep talks about life and things like that. This makeup look maybe takes me like 15 minutes. Like it does not take me a long time. And I'm gonna put a little bit like on my nose too. I love doing this. I feel like it just makes the whole look like even more natural. And I mean, obviously this isn't natural, like it's blush, it's makeup, but you know what I mean. We talk about things being natural while we're putting on like eyeliner and like contour and fake eyelashes, but it's natural, it's fine, it's fine. So the next thing I'm actually gonna do is, I was gonna do something else, but actually, I'm gonna take this Morphe setting spray. It's just like this viewfinder is helpful because I'm just like, is it in the frame? Can you see? I'm gonna take this Morphe setting spray, and I'm just gonna spray this all over my face because I did put a lot of like different powder products on my face, and I just kind of want everything to kind of melt in the skin. Because again, we're not trying to do too much today. Like we're just keeping it really, really, really natural. So let me just, natural. Let me just spray my face. All right, guys. So now I'm gonna take this lash curler. I'm gonna put on false lashes today. I think I already mentioned that I was planning on doing that, but I do want to show you. So these are the Ardell Wispies, but they're the Studio Effects. Okay, yeah, you can see them. Look at, these are so pretty. When I tell you I put these on and like, girl, they look like lash extensions. Like they are so freaking pretty. And obviously you can tell that I like them because I only have one pair left in that little pack that I bought. I'm gonna put these on actually off camera. I'm just gonna use my, what is this? My Duo Lash Glue. I know there's like a lot of other really good glues out there for lash. I know the Kiss one is really good too. But personally, this is just the one that I have on hand right now. So I'm gonna do my lashes off camera and then I will be right back. So I put on the lashes. I also did put on some mascara. For that, I just used my L'Oreal mascara. It's like the Lash Paradise Voluminous. I don't have much left to do actually, but I am gonna go in with what I usually do, which is just some lip balm. The one that I have really been liking is this e.l.f. Ride or Die Lip Balm. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna do, because I like keep rambling and then I'm like, oh wait, there's one more step. But this is like literally like the last step. I'm just gonna take this setting spray. This is the Maybelline Lasting Fix, not the barcode, you wanna see the name. This is the Maybelline Lasting Fix setting spray, and it's just their mattifying setting spray. And I'm just gonna spray this all over my face to kind of set everything down in place that I did after the Morphe setting spray that I put on before to set all the powders down. All right guys, and so then that's it for the makeup look. I hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me today. I really did have a good time just kind of sitting here and getting ready and just getting to like catch up and talk about all the reasons, you know, why I took the break that I did and just like what's been going on in my life. And again, I really hope that, you know, anyone who's watching this video and just really anyone in the world, I hope that you guys are staying safe, that you're doing well. Again, remember, do what you can to keep your peace, to follow your peace, whatever that looks like, whether that's like prayer and meditation, or that's drinking a nice herbal tea, adult coloring, doing your makeup with like a YouTube video follow along kind of a thing. If you want to, you can look at my other makeup tutorials and you can go follow along and do your makeup with me in those. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some rest in watching this I guess tutorial, if you will. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I can't wait until the next Tati Tuesday. It is gonna look a little bit different. It's not just gonna be a makeup tutorial, so be on the lookout for that. I'm really excited for it, and I hope that you guys just have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.